Hi YouTube, it's Diane. I thought I would do a small haul video for you today. And I thank you for watching the videos. I was talking with my husband the other night. He isn't quite sure about this YouTube thing. He thinks it's kind of odd for me, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying watching all of your videos. I'm picking up some tips and techniques and some ideas. And it's fun to talk cross stitch. There's just a different language. My husband is a computer guy, so there's a different language for that, and there's a different language for different things in life. So I'm really enjoying this. Well, I had the opportunity to do a little bit of a drive this past weekend, and I had watched the lovely Array, her wonderful, wonderful video on her bead storage system. I have looked for years for something for this. I kid you not. I tried the little screw-on stacky tower thingies. Didn't like them. The labels kept falling off, and I just didn't like the noise they made. It didn't work for me. I tried a different system that had all these little drawers, but the problem is I don't have a set stitchy spot. But I do have a set area to store my materials. And if that bead organizer tipped over, half the drawers fell out and I lost the beads. So it was really frustrating for me. I knew I wanted something that covered the beads, some kind of lid, but I looked and I looked and I looked. So then when, I believe it's Mackenzie from the Lovely Array, showed off her bead storage system, I knew that is what I was looking for. And then I watched Tara C on her video, and she said she found it at Joann's. Well, we had Joann's around here. So I went to Joann's website, and according to the website, they don't ship it, so you have to go to the store to pick it up. So I looked in my area to see what stores would have this bead organizer. And there were two locations near me that had the bead organizer. So I went to one, and it was a place I had never gone to before, a location. Horrid experience at that location. I just could not believe it. First of all, I had my 8.5-month-old son with me. He was in the stroller. He wasn't fussing or crying. He was just looking around and watching the different things on the shelves. It took me over 20 minutes to find a worker in the store, an employee, to help me find this system. And the computer had said that they had two. And I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked. And then it took me another 20 minutes to find this employee because the employees were gone. I couldn't find them. They seemed to kind of run from the customers, was the type of attitude. And when I did track down an employee, I showed her, I had my smartphone and I had it on the Joann's website. I had it queued to the exact bead storage system I wanted. Did you look over there? I said, yeah, I looked in that aisle several times. Well, did you look over there? I said, yeah, and it wasn't there. Well, then we don't have it. I said, but the computer says you do. And I had it all queued up. I mean, she could look in her computer at the store to find out where it was at and how many they had and all of that. She chose not to do that. And she just looked at my son with she gave him such a dirty look, which, that brings out Mama Bear pretty quickly. He wasn't fussing. There was a kid in the store somewhere else who was having a total meltdown, but he wasn't fussing. He was just sitting there, and he was strapped in, and it's beautiful weather, so he didn't have to have a jacket on. It just gave him the dirtiest look, and she turns and walked away. I just stood there. I was stunned. I thought, okay, you have a customer walk in the store, cash in hand. They know exactly what they want, and these aren't $2 items either. I also knew I needed to restock some of my DMCs, so I was going to look and just get some there. I thought, oh, there anyway, I'll just buy it there. So I was going to look and see what else was on sale in the store and if anything caught my eye. But I just walked out of that store. I was so disgusted. I thought, oh, I just was so insulted by this woman. And I had parked not right near the door, like 3 or 4 aisles over and halfway back. Well, everybody wanted my parking spot, but I sat there and I nursed my son because he was hungry. And I thought, I'll go find another parking spot. I'm not moving. Then I had an opportunity later in the day to go to a different Joann store. And Miss Mel, I don't think either one of these stores is the one that you work at, because I think you're in the east part of the cities and I'm in the west. But this store, the second store, is one that I shop at a lot. And the computer said they only had one. And it seems as though the word gets out to the cross-stitchers about this bead storage system. They're getting harder to find. But that's a good thing, because when you find something that works and you share it, it's so appreciated. Here I went to the other store, and they had it sitting right there. It was so easy to find. They had 4 or 5 of them, actually. And the customer service at the second Joann's was fabulous. I even told the woman checking me out, I said, I went to another Joann's today, and they were just horrid. I'm never going there again. I will come to your store. I will drive to your store because your customer service is so much better. She wasn't sure what to make of my comment, but oh, I was so disgusted with that other place. So I just want to encourage you, if you experience a bad experience at one store, don't write them all off, because the Joann's I went to, the second Joann's, oh, so much better, so much nicer. And I got my bead storage system. One thing I noticed, and I did load it up, I actually have to go get a second one, but I've been beading on my cross-stitch projects for almost 20 years. So, I have a collection of them. Something's weird on my computer, I'm sorry. I have quite a collection of beads, so I need to get a second one. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but none of my current Mirabilia whips that require beads, very few of their beads are in this one, so I'm going to have to get a second one to put those in. But when I was watching the Lovely Ray's video, Tara C's video, Jessie Maria Does Stuff's video on the bead storage system, I noticed something, and this was before I purchased it. It looks great to see all the colored beads in the columns, but when I am ready to kit a project, I don't want to have to sit there and pull out every little container to find the bead number. And when you have, this is a Mirabilia project, they just give you, it's right here, they give you just a list of numbers of the beads. They don't say it's this color or this size. So although I've learned if it's 60,000, it's a frosted bead. If it's 40,000, it's a petite. If it's 3,000, it's an antique seed bead. And if it's under 3,000, it's usually just the standard seed bead. I haven't figured out the 16s and the 18s yet, but I know that the numbers are different, and I think they purposely do that. So it would bug me to have to pull out every container. There's 78 containers in here, and I don't want to have to go through all of them to make sure I don't duplicate my order of beads. So I got my label maker. I love my label maker. I use my label maker all the time. I use it in my house. I have labeled my pantry. Nobody pays attention to my labels, but I have labeled my pantry. I'm not OCD or anything like that, or CDO, which is OCD alphabetically. But I do like order, and just seeing things in order it's just pleasing and it's calming. So I have my label maker out, and I made labels to go on the front of the cases. And here is what I did. So here's all the beads, and over here is 0020, and then down over here somewhere is in the 60,000s. But if you look at one of the containers right here, that's my label that I did with my label maker. I'll take one of these out in a minute. But I have these in alphabetical order, a numerical order. And so when I am kitting something, I can look at this without having to open the lid. I could just look down and say, I have 2062, I have 4123, and then I know I have those beads. And then I could take out the container and see if I need to refill the beads. And then when I'm ready to actually bead, then I can remove that container. So this is a close-up of what I did with my label maker. The label is 1/2 inch high, and I had to trim the label down pretty tight to the numbers. But I can get all 5 numbers on there, which Mill Hill, that is their numbering system, involves 5 numbers. I'm not aware of any beads at this point for cross stitch by Mill Hill that have 6 numbers or more. But I put this label on this point on all of the containers, so they're all uniform. So I have the labels that come with the system here. This is the petite glass bead. This is white. And then on this corner, the square corner of the container, this corner is a little rounded to help you get the beads in and out. I put that label. That way, when I look at it, it's not going to drive me nuts. And I can make sure everything's in order. And when I go down a pattern, like a Mirabilia pattern, I can just go down and indicate, yes, I have that bead. No, I don't have that bead. So that's the change I made in my bead system. And again, here's what it looks like. These labels that you see here, all the way down the column, those are mine. And I put those on there. And these labels stick really, really well. I have some gluten-free children, so I have some of the ingredients in mason jars. And so I put a label on what it is. It's xanthan gum or brown rice flour, whatever it may be. I've had some of those labels go through our dishwasher more than once, and they're still perfectly fine. They're on the mason jars. They're not coming off. You have to kind of peel them off. So I'm confident that these labels will stay on these containers really, really well. And I do have to get a second bead holder container. But thank you, Mackenzie, for finding this and sharing it, because this has been one of those nightmare storage things. I love beads. I love having them in my projects, but this is one thing that has been a headache to find to store them in. I started just leaving them in the original case, and if I needed to, tape the case back up. But then I was always concerned that I'd open the box that I stored them in, and one of the cases had opened up or something like that. There are a few beads, like 00557, that's gold, and 00123, white. I've learned that through the years, but I don't know all the colors and all the numbers. It's kind of like DMC, you know that 310 is black, and 321 is red, 500 is a green. You learn certain numbers on your projects, but I don't know all of them. So, what else I purchased? I had the opportunity to go to my cross stitch store. I call it my cross stitch store. It's not just mine, but I have been a customer of theirs for almost 20 years, and through several different locations and moves, and I could just spend days in their store, quite frankly. I looked at so many different patterns, and I really did keep myself from purchasing some new patterns. I had a set list. It's a distance from my home, which is, I can't get there very often, which is probably good for the pocketbook, but I did have a set list. And one of those items, because I'm going to be doing the Teresa Wentzler Winter Carousel horse, I did not have fabric. So I picked this fabric, and this fabric is 32 count. I'm trying to find the label. 32 count Stormy Night, and has a little, it's gray, but it's kind of a swirl to it, and it's really, really pretty. I think it'll look great with this winter horse, to have it gray and have that swirling and multicolor aspect to it. So I found a piece for that, and that was on my list. So I was really good about my list. So I got that, so I can start that pattern now. I have the floss for it already. But I also got another couple of project bags. This is 11 by 14 vinyl mesh project bags. And they make them now with multicolored zippers. So I had the black one, so I purchased a red and a blue one. These are both the same size. So I knew that was on my list, and they were very affordable. I also purchased a little one here. Unfortunately, I didn't check the zipper in the store because the zipper is broken and it's not something I can fix. So I'm going to have to take it back. And this has happened in the past with another one of these I purchased a while ago. Because it's so new, I could just take my receipt. They'll exchange it for me. They do a really good job on that. In my store, it's Stitchville in Minnetonka. And I will put their website down below. They are very, very helpful. The woman who was there really, really helped me a lot. I'm afraid I've forgotten her name, but very, very nice lady. So I also needed some more floss away bags. This is what I put my specialty fibers in. I do not put DMC in here, but I put watercolors, petite treasure braids. I needed some more of these, so I got some more of those. And then I want to do the blackwork stitch along, but I didn't want to do it in black, so I looked at what else they had, and I found this floss. I've never heard of this company. It's Finca Presentia, and it's number 12 cotton, and it's a multicolor, and I think it's just going to look beautiful on that black work. Save the stitches, stitch along. It's variegated, so it goes from very white to a wine red. And so I'm going to use this on the frames of the little boxes. And then the patterns inside the boxes, I'm just going to go through my DMC and see what I have, because this is cotton, so I don't have to worry about cottons and silk mixing and matching. But I'll just find some colors and use that. The pattern also called for some beads, so I'll look through my collection. But it also called for 3 different metallics, and these are the metallics that I chose. They're treasure braid, and I can tell you the numbers. This is silver, so it's PB04. And this one is PB18. It's a blue pewter color, which I think will play off the red really well. And then this PB51, which is more of a brown, dark brown, burnished copper. I just think these 3 together, alongside of the red, I'm trying to get this in the camera, sorry. I think these will work very well and play off each other. This does not have as many yards as the DMC number 12. The DMC number 12 has 131 yards. This is 116. So to make sure I had enough for the project, I bought 3 of these, and the number is 9435. It doesn't have a specific name, it just gives me a number. So I look forward to using this and putting that project together. I did not buy fabric. She was there all by herself, and a lot of people were in the store. So I'm going to get my fabric elsewhere. I didn't want to bother her, but I will get my fabric, and I'll probably do like an antique white. Another thing I purchased, someone had mentioned that they like to use anchor black rather than DMC black because it covers better. So I purchased a couple of anchor black, number 403. I'll see if I have that same experience. I have noticed over the years, though, sometimes the black just doesn't look as full as the other colors. So maybe this will work better for me. I'm going to try it anyway. Let's see, what else did I purchase? I also purchased a couple Christmas gifts, and I would show them to you, but they're for somebody who might see the video, so I'm sorry I can't show them. And one of them is a pattern, and I'm not able to show that to you. But I have decided to join the Mirabilia Stitch Along started by Mrs. Milky Bar Kid. And I can't do red or Persephone because I've already started those projects and I'm almost finished with red. So that would be cheating. So I went through my pattern stash and I chose this one. It is Venetian Opulence. And I've had this one, I don't know the exact year that this one was put out. 2008. Okay, so I've had this one for a few years, and it's really, really pretty. I love the purples and the rich reds and the greens and the golds. I think those would play off each other really nicely. And I had also, when I purchased this pattern probably a couple years ago, I'd also purchased the linen for it. And I'm going to use Water Lily Jobelan 32 count, and it's a greenish color. Mrs. Milky Bar Kid, she's admitted her favorite color is purple. Well, mine's green. So this has a greenish hint to it, which I think will play off of the purples and the deep colors that are in this pattern. And when I purchased this fabric, I did a floss toss. I pulled some of the flosses to see how they played off this color. Because originally it's on natural brown undyed linen. I don't like that color. Sorry, I don't. And I wanted something a little peppier. And again, green is my favorite color, so I'm drawn to the greens. I already have the W88. I already have this I'm going to do a stash video showing you some of the projects I've done in the past, and I had this from another project, so it's one that you stitch with just regularly. You don't put any thread heaven or anything on this, and then you go back when you're done with this little brush I have, and you fluff it up. So that's one reason I have it in this bag, because I don't want it to fluff up before I've stitched it in. And I think it might be the feather on her head and maybe her fan. I'm not quite sure where that color is used, so that'll be fun. I haven't even opened this pattern yet. So I'm waiting until January, but I had to get some beads for the project. And here are some of the beads. I'm not going to tell you all the color or numbers, excuse me, but just to give you an idea of some of the colors. This purple, and there's this one that you look at it, it looks green or it looks gold. It's multicolored. It's really, really, really pretty. And you have to have, I think, 2 of these. And so I have all the beads for the project now, including some of the larger beads, the size 8 beads. So that's the 18,000. So that's why I need to get another container to hold these beads too. I also have the 002C number 4 fine braid. I already have that. So I'm set to start that in January, so I'll put that into my rotation. With the bead storage system, I want to throw out a challenge. This is how I store my Kreinik's. They fit nicely in the squares, but if I want to find a certain Kreinik, I have to take out every spool and look on the end. And yes, I've tried to do all the numbers and keep them in numerical order. How do you store your Kreinik's is my challenge, my question. you can either post a video or comment below. I'm looking for a way, I've been looking for years how to store this. Now I have a couple of ideas. I went online and a couple of people put out some ideas. I'm going to try a couple of ideas and then next month report on if I think those ideas are going to work for me or not, because they're a little more unusual. But that's my challenge. How do you store your Kreinik's? I want my Kreinik's so they're all the spools. I can look down like I can look down on the beads, and I don't even have to open the lid. I can look down and I can get the colors, and I can have everything in order, because I have purchased multiples of the same one because I went through my box 2 or 3 times and I still missed one of the spools. These spools do not work well with the sewing machine bobbin, or spool boxes. I literally took one of these to Joann's and I was trying every container to see if there was one. They're just so small. And I suppose that Kreinik does produce some that is used for embroidery machines. They're larger spools though. Those would store very well in those thread organizer boxes, but these, they would rattle around, and I really, because they all have that colored end, the number 4s have a red end, the blending filaments have, is it orange or blue? The different types, it's kind of a bluish color, have different end colors. I want to have it sitting there and I can look down and go, oh, yep, I have that number. That's how I want it stored. So if you have ideas, and I do have a couple I'm going to try, I'll let you know probably the end of next month if it's working or not for me. But I've acquired a number over the years. I'm not worried about this DMC metallic. I'm not worried about that. I could change that. But this Japan number 7, I will keep. I'll probably put this in a floss away bag, but I'm not going to wrap this on a bobbin. I don't want it to kink, so I'm not going to do that. I don't want it to break. But I have a whole variety of colors. I just want to use these easier. Having this bead organizer will help me know what I have and use my beads more, which is what I want to do with my stash. So if you have an idea on Kreinik, how do you store this? Please share on a video, comment below. Please, please share. That's my challenge. But I think that's all I have for today. And I want to thank you again. The comments I've received, I've really appreciated. I appreciate you watching the video. And I will be posting another video on the Know Your Needleworker tag. I have the questions here. So I will do that on a different video. Coming up in November for my family is deer hunting season. It's one way God provides a lot of meat for our family. And because my husband will have a group of the children elsewhere and I'll be here with the youngers, it's going to be harder for me to post a video. And I plan on doing some quilting during that time for Christmas. So I still want to put videos out because this is fun to share like this. And it's holding me accountable to, if I'm going to do something, follow through. So if you don't hear from me in a little while, it's okay. I'm good. But I'm sorry I'm not on Instagram. I don't know. It took me 10 years to join Facebook. So I don't know how long it's going to take for me to consider joining Instagram. I will think about it. But I really appreciate you watching this movie, hearing me blabber on. I love watching your videos, your haul videos, what projects you're doing, because there's so many patterns out there. And some of them don't catch my eye, but some of them really, really do. And they've gone onto my wish list on Pinterest. And I look forward to doing the Mirabilia stitch-along. That'll be fun. So I thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.